What up, though? We back with another one, and boom, we up here with it today. Today's video is about: are you coming from a place of trauma, or are you currently being triggered? Because it's two instances. They're two different things. A lot of times we think that what we are going through, or what someone is doing to us, or putting us through, is a form of trauma. But sometimes that is the universe stepping in, and it's triggering us to grow. Because in certain circumstances, when you don't change your circumstances, the universe steps in and it triggers that growth. It triggers that wanting to get out of stagnation. It triggers that, oh, I got to do something, and I got to try to figure this out right now. Because within those two instances, I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, you trying to trigger me, or right now I'm going through some trauma, or I'm reliving trauma. You're not reliving trauma. Most of the times you're not reliving trauma. The trauma happened. Trauma is something new that happens to you, where you are putting in, I want to call it a life-threatening situation. That's what trauma can be based as: domestic abuse, you know what I'm saying, verbal abuse, mental abuse, social abuse. Like, those are points of trigger. Triggers are when you see triggers are the things that are catapulting your growth. So I can look at triggers as, oh, I'm tired of this job right now, and I just can't do it no more. It's another week, another day, and I'm just sick of how these people treat me, and no. That's not a trauma. That's a trigger. And you have just triggered the universe to trigger you so that you can get up out of that place, so you can move forward, so you can have a better job, or get up out that job and do something for yourself. Because a lot of times, people be in these jobs, but they are also entrepreneurs, and oh, I can't wait for me to have enough money so I can quit this job and be able to go into business for myself. A lot of entrepreneurs will tell you that they stopped waiting for that moment in time, that point in time when they wanted to quit their job when they had enough money, because you ain't never gonna have enough money to quit your job unless you just so happen to be a millionaire the next day, or you win the lottery or something like that. Your job ain't gonna provide you with that, because you're gonna constantly be living paycheck to paycheck, and you gonna keep feeling like you need more, you need more, you need more. This ain't enough, this ain't enough, this ain't enough. So every entrepreneur will tell you that they just took a chance on themselves, and they quit that job and started just going into business for themselves, so that they could go ahead and propel their lives forward on their own terms. Because you got to risk it to get the biscuit. You can't just keep sitting around waiting for it and hoping for it and praying for it. You got to actually get out here and make the moves. You got to do the business. You got to do the work. And on the other end of that is trauma. That trauma is something that is holding you back. Trauma is stagnating you. Trauma is that mindset that's telling you, oh, I can't get up out of this job because what if XYZ happened? Trauma is, those stipulations that you grew up with telling you, like, oh, you got to work a job because that's the only way that you can propel through life. That's the only way that you can have a nice lifestyle, or you can afford your bills. Or no, that's not true at all. I will be the first person to tell you that. I've most entrepreneurs have possibly made way more money going into business for themselves than they have working a job. Because not every day will be up here. It'll be top tier. You done succeeded, and you done got your max payout that you have been looking for, and all of that. No, every day ain't gonna be like that. Some days it's gonna be slow. Some weeks, some months, you're gonna have a productive time. But other times, within those times, like, you got to be doing something else to keep you motivated. You got to do something else to keep you going. Otherwise, you will fall into that trauma mindset. You will feel like you are stagnated, or you might as well just go ahead and go back to work. This ain't working out. I might as well go ahead and give me a job. Stick to it. Stay to it. Get out of those trauma mindsets. Stop being triggered by, don't stop being triggered. Continue to allow those triggers to grow you and propel you forward, because the triggers is essentially what helps make us. The triggers is what brings us out of those trauma mindsets. Because again, a lot of people do move and float around in these trauma mindsets, and that's what's stagnating them, holding them back. It keeps them feeling like, oh, I'm not gonna have better. I'm not gonna do better. This business ain't gonna work out for me. If I go into business for myself, who gonna mess with me? If I move to another state, I gotta find all new clientele. Like, this is really not a stopwatch. This don't never stop. Like, it's gonna be a continuous cycle of you telling yourself why you can't do it. And why do you need to continue to do that? That's a fear-based mindset. That's a trauma-based mindset. Don't do that. We are now propelling forward. We are now doing the things that make us happy. We are doing the things that bring us joy. We are doing the things that will make us successful, because that's what life is about. Being successful, being joyous, being in a state of bliss, being happy, being calm, being peaceful. Like, don't worry about what's not going to work out. Do it. You are risking more by not doing it than you would be doing it. Try it and see how it works out for you. Try it for 30 days and see how it works out for you. Don't anything, they say that anything becomes habit if you do it for 90 days. Try it for 60 days, just on a minimum. Try it for 60 days. Give it 45 days. Give it 45 days and give it your all. Like, I mean, put every inch of joy, every inch of your heart, every inch of your soul into whatever it is that you are trying to craft. And I mean from a joyous point, and see how it turns out for you. See how it transforms. Because again, don't allow those traumas to hold you back, and keep allowing those triggers to propel you forward. Because life is about bliss, change, and balance. And I'm just here to help you balance it all out.